were incentivized by seeing their neighbors or their friends getting this kind of money. So they quit their goddamn job. And they sat around, they got that money as long as they could get that money. And they never had a desire to try to find another job because they was being given free money. They didn't want to work.
Yeah.
So there was a time when we said, okay, it's safe to come back to work, everybody. People weren't going back to work. So our Republicans, our congressmen, our state legislation started to say, hey, man, we need to cut this shit. Hey, man, we need to cut this food. Hey, no more. We ain't passing no more extension, man. Fuck this shit. We need to cut this because it made American workers lazy.
Yeah.
And if you focus on our culture, homie, I done worked plenty warehouse jobs. Man, I see motherfuckers don't want to work.
I'm happy to be here. I like Dallas better than I like Houston, to be honest with you.
You're a conservative guy.
Yeah.
Who's very reserved.
Absolutely.
Houston has a lot of billionaires, a lot of millionaires. Dallas has a lot of millionaires and billionaires. Shout out to the Waltons. Ross Perot Jr. The Joneses. I can go on and on. But yeah, I think as far as a guy of your caliber, yeah, I see Dallas being your pick over Houston.
You know, the interesting thing about it is that like when we was kicking it and we was on the rooftop and we was talking, you know, when me and you get together, we actually vibe, we celebrate, we talk about different things, and a lot of times we even have to stop ourselves because we start to get into different conversations that we probably gonna talk about on camera. But you was saying that gentrification is a good thing, and even in this area, because this is my first time in Dallas, that everything is completely changed around here.
Yeah.
You know, as far as even you being familiar with the things that was going on that wasn't so savvy, you know, at another time.
And shout out to the mayor. They got a young black mayor that's making international connections around the world, that's just getting people to come here. Shout out to our governor. He get a lot of flack, but Texas is a state that attracts corporation and businesses.
Yeah.
It's a great incentive to bring a business to the state of Texas because of the tax write-off, the tax incentives. Between Dallas and Houston, and just around Texas, West Texas, South Texas, Texas is a felony-friendly state. You can work for Lockheed Martin
as a felon.
Yeah, as a felon. You can work for General Motors. You can work for the county. You can work for the city. Frito-Lay, Dr. Pepper. Man, you can get great jobs out here. And the reason why Texas is a felony-friendly state is because just for a corporation or a business to hire not just a felon, but someone who gets a TANF, someone who gets disability, to hire a military veteran, to hire someone who's been convicted of a crime, there's almost a $20,000 tax write-off for that, for each individual.
That's insane. That is absolutely insane.
And then if you,
I mean, insane in a good way, though.
Yeah, but then if you take that on top of the fact that you train them, that's another incentive. So that's why you see a lot of reentry programs, a prison reentry program that's focused on training. That's why you see a lot of temporary employment agencies that's focused on training. A lot of nonprofits come to the community and try to offer training. That's why you see a lot of community programs offer forklift training, CDL training, because the government, not just the federal government or the Department of Labor, but your state government has a lot of incentives for that. So if black people created more businesses and hired more black people with records, they can also too tap into that economic incentive.
I don't know if that's gonna pop off though.
It don't make sense to them though.
Yeah, well, one of the things is that it just always seems like black people in a lot of instances, they don't want to work.
Well, you ain't lying. Now,
They don't want to
if
work.
you said that, they gonna say, man, you talking down on black people, you talking against black people. If white people said that, they'll say you're racist. But the statistics and the number says that.
Well, me as a person that's opened up multiple businesses and I have a lot of people that work for me, you know, even today, the biggest problem that I have specifically when I'm opening up a business or I'm making an investment, right, and I'm even putting $1 million over the next 2 years into my own city, right? Instead of leaving, I'm deciding to put it into my own city. The biggest obstacle that we have, both Rita and I, my wife, is when we opening up a business, we trying to evaluate whether or not we can actually find somebody that can work. You know what I'm saying? Because it's very difficult to hire somebody that actually want to come to work every day. And if they're not sitting at home or they, you know, you can't find them, you know, get them to do something where they stand at home and doing it or something like that.
Even standing
it's
hard.
hard.
It takes a certain kind of person to work from home and be effective and be a great valued employee at home as compared to being in the office, right?
Yeah.
Most people have to be in need to be micromanaged.
Yep.
Most people have to be in need to be micromanaged. That's just the way it is. Most people don't have the honor system. I ain't gonna say that. On the job, very people do what's right for the company, and on the best interest for the company when nobody's not looking. So I understand what you're saying, and if you look at what happened during the pandemic, just right here in Texas, man, there was some people getting, by the time they filed for unemployment, and they went through the unemployment process, and the back pay, and what they was giving out weekly during the pandemic. So they were giving out money to the unemployment system. Man, people was getting $17,000, $20,000 in 3 or 4 weeks, and had never touched that kind of money had they not been selling drugs at one time. So a lot of people were incentivized by seeing their neighbors or their friends getting this kind of money, so they quit their goddamn job, and they sat around. They got that money as long as they could get that money, and they never had a desire to try to find another job because they was being given free money. They didn't want to work.
Yeah.
So there was a time when we said, okay, it's safe to come back to work, everybody. People weren't going back to work. So our Republicans, our congressmen, our state legislation started to say, hey, man, we need to cut this shit. Hey, man, we need to cut this food. Hey, no more. We ain't passing no more extension, man. Fuck this shit. We need to cut this because it made American workers lazy.
Yeah.
And if you focus on our culture, homie, I don't work plenty warehouse jobs. Man, I see motherfuckers don't want to work.